Welcome to Boost You Business, your money map blueprint, where we talk about the steps that you need to take to start, set up, and grow your business from 0 to 7 figures plus so you can have the time and money freedom to do what you love. With your host, Heather Blaze. Let's get started. Hey everybody, I'm here with Jacqualine from the Yoga Room. Jacqualine is a wife, a mother of 5 who is multitasking and juggling life, work, family responsibilities until she discovered Yoga Nashit, which is yoga for women's health. And I'm going to ask her a little bit more about that. She's going to go into more detail about that. But through her studies and teaching, she has been able to develop a deeper awareness, understanding, and connection about her body, how it works, how it naturally changes over time. And this knowledge has allowed her to adapt her expectations of herself and how she interacts with those around her. So her mission is to help women to improve their health and well-being by using yoga as a tool to create deeper understanding, awareness, connection of the bodies and self. And Jacqualine qualified as a yoga for pregnancy instructor at the Wingate Institute in 2014. She qualified as a Yoga Nashit instructor in 2017 with Mira Padan. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And she's the founder of Yoga Nashit, and she is currently studying yoga as a therapeutic tool at Campus Broshim, School of Integrative Medicine, Tel Aviv University. And today we are talking about reframing everything you thought you knew about yoga. So welcome, Jacqualine. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Hi, all the way from Tel Aviv. I'm in Canada. Yep. Lots of people are watching from all over the world here in the States and stuff. So really cool to have you. So tell us about you. What's your story?
I'm so excited to be here. So my story and journey into the world of yoga, well, I've always practiced yoga on and off as a student. And we lived actually in America for 2 years between 2010 and 2012. And I taught yoga for kids in a K-12 school, and that was sort of my first foray into teaching. But I was teaching sort of early childhood age. I've been an environmental consultant for about 22 years, but in 2013, my eldest daughter got sick. I was pregnant with baby number 5. And after that whole whirlwind of a year, I decided to totally change directions. And I thought, I've had 5 kids. I knew something about being pregnant. I really wanted to go do something totally different. And I went to study yoga for pregnancy. Wow. And it was life-changing, totally, absolutely life-changing. I realized I knew nothing about being pregnant. I knew nothing about giving birth. I knew nothing about the changing woman's body. And that has since then led me on a path of really working with women, spreading this message that I've now learned, led me to the world of Yoga Nashit, yoga for women's health, and now to the world of therapeutic yoga.
So cool. Wow, I can't believe 5 kids. That's amazing. I have 1, and I'm just like, and you're doing it all. So cool. Yeah. So what are you celebrating right now? What's the big celebration in your life, or a little celebration? It doesn't have to be big.
I feel that I've been on this journey from becoming a yoga teacher to a yoga business to a yoga entrepreneur. Yeah. And I'm sort of in this world now of like being an entrepreneur and what that means, and realizing that it's not just about being a yoga teacher. There is this whole world of running a business and what it means, and the marketing and the accounts and this language that I never knew before. And I feel that even, now in my 40s, I'm learning more than I've ever learned before. I'm growing and developing as a person, as a businesswoman, as a teacher, in my private life, in my professional life, just this sort of major steep learning curve of entering this sort of entrepreneurial world of sort of what that means to be a working mum.
Totally. And it's so true. Like there's so many people going through what you're going through. And that's why I do these interviews, is because I know that so many people are going through it, and maybe they can get something from, what you're going through that could help them. And that's exactly what I tell my clients too is that it doesn't matter what business you're in, you're now in the marketing business. So,
yes,
you know, whether you own a hotel, whether you're selling stuff online, whether you're a yoga teacher or a massage therapist or a fitness instructor, like it doesn't really matter what business you're in. You're now in the marketing business. And as an entrepreneur, you have to wear all the different hats, and sometimes it can be really confusing. Like, where do I start? Or we're learning all these old techniques of, you know, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then not get the results that we really need.
Yeah. And also, you know, I'm trained as a yoga teacher. Like, that's what I want to be doing. I'm not trained in marketing or advertising or social media, but you sort of have to learn all these skills and you've got to pick it up because, you know, I want to be a yoga teacher and I want to help women and share my message. But to reach the number and to have the impact you want to have, you can't just be doing, you know, yoga classes in your dining room, you know, like it's got to be something much bigger and larger. And that has really been my biggest challenge, my biggest growth curve.
Yeah, and it's like that for so many. And that's exactly why I created the program that I created, was because I see so many people out there, they're going for their specialized training, whether it be naturopath or a yoga instructor or something. You know, they go for their specialized training, they invest in that program, and then they maybe get a day or two about business, right? And then they graduate, and then they're like, how do I differentiate myself as an expert against everybody else that's been in the field for so long, right? Where do I start? All that stuff. And that's why that's exactly what I bring my clients through as well, is to show them and to make it so much quicker and easier, and so they don't have to waste a bunch of time and money trying to figure it all out. So that's really cool.
I still remember very clearly. I mean, the last 6 months have been really seriously transformative for me in terms of defining my niche and defining how I'm unique and different.
Good.
But a year and a half ago, I remember very clearly when I decided to turn my yoga teaching into a yoga business. And it was September. I prepared a flyer. I didn't even know Canva then. I only had like this, you know, desktop program, and I prepared a flyer and I put it out, and I was like, I'm putting myself out there, and I put out classes and I put it on Facebook, and then like nothing.
Crickets, right?
Yes. It was like everybody deafening silence, you know. And I was like, but I put myself out there, and I'm like, want to teach. And it's been a year and a half of like really turning my hobby, my sort of dining room teaching, into a business, into you know, presenting myself as an entrepreneur more than just a yoga teacher.
Yeah, it's so true. That's what all my clients have gone through the exact same thing. They get out there, they're doing like maybe podcasts and flyers, and they're spending hours a day on social media, and like crickets. And then they're driving all that traffic to something that isn't set up properly. Or maybe it's only, you know, or they're giving away free stuff or discounting, trying to get people in there, but they just can't see how to set it all up so it's all systemized and streamlined, and so it all flows nicely, so they can automate the client building and set their website in a way so it's all just automatic, so they can really focus on their value. And that's amazing that you actually figured out to narrow in your niche and having it all about pregnancy, because that's another thing that is really, really important, is unless you have a marketing budget like Pepsi or Coca-Cola where you can just spread the word to everybody, you really need to hone it in. So that's really cool that you figured that out.
Yeah. So basically what I do is yoga for women's health at every age and stage of life, which basically means the whole world of Yoga Nashit, as you mentioned, was developed by Mirarati Padan. She's done, I think she's in her 14th year of teacher training, but the field was developed about 20 odd years ago. And she realized that women were practicing yoga, but were getting injured, and that yoga didn't really take into account the change in woman's body and what a woman goes through. So we really look at every stage and using yoga as a tool to help the woman deal, cope, manage, treat whatever she's going through in her life. So I have actually developed sort of a 3-step process, which, as you said, was creating awareness of what is going on in your body. Most women don't realize how they carry stress, the physical way they manage with their body, if they're going through, for example, fertility treatments or anything, you know, if you're a teenager going through severe PMS symptoms, just like the awareness of what is going on in your body. I work with a lot of women about sort of how, you know, who are suffering from back pain or lower back pain, and they are carrying their stress all in their shoulders. And then all of a sudden, when you change the way you have the awareness with your body, all of a sudden you notice things that you never noticed before. That's the first step, noticing things in your body that you never noticed before, because we create this awareness. After there is the awareness, you can then develop an understanding of what it means for me biologically, hormonally. Hormones is a really important part of yoga for women's health, because and I'm very much about hormones not being a dirty word, you know, like being a hormonal woman should not be a critique or a criticism, or, you know, like, oh, she's just hormonal. Like, you know, like your hormones allow you to be the truest, most authentic expression of what it is to be a woman.
Love it.
And so I find that really understanding the ever-changing body, your ever-changing body, and combine that awareness and understanding of what is going on in your body and how things are happening is the sort of the first two steps for a woman to really connect to herself and totally change the way she understands herself, relates to herself, manages herself, you know, everything that's going on with her. It's really, really transformative. And then the third step is the strengthening the body-mind connection. Because everything that goes on with us physically and emotionally is totally, totally linked. And we don't really, I mean, it's becoming much more common in the health and wellness field to talk about body-mind connection. A lot of people sort of throw it out there. They don't really understand what it means from a yoga or women's health perspective. It really is this symbiotic relationship between physical and emotional, mind, body, and being able to understand the relationship between the two. So things that you're going through emotionally, how that affects you biologically, and the reverse, things that are going on biologically, hormonally, how you respond. Yes. And really using all the tools that yoga brings to create that three-step process for the woman.
I love it. So that's the difference between just regular yoga and the yoga
for women's health.
Nashit. I wanted to call it something else. For the women's health. Yeah. Cool.
Because I think a lot of times yoga, I mean, we all know the benefits of yoga. You know, the benefits of yoga are very, very well known. But for a woman, she needs so much more. There's so much more. There's so many regular, natural changes going on with the woman. And often the woman is juggling a lot of things. You know, she's often juggling being a working mother, a businesswoman, managing, you know, other family responsibilities. And that feeling of overwhelm can be totally balanced out once you understand how your body works.
Yeah, that makes sense. That really makes sense. Yeah. I totally agree with you with, the emotional connecting with the physical, like Louise Hay. I'm a big Louise Hay fan. So that's really cool. So how does somebody, so let's say, like, can you give us an overview of what that looks like going through those three steps?
Yeah. So let me use the example of a woman in her menopause journey, because this is a specific niche that I'm really focusing on now. Okay. A woman going through her menopause journey, probably from the ages of about 40 to 55. She needs to understand what has gone on the first 20 years of her life. And I really feel that women are very prepared for sort of those teenage years. Their mum usually has a conversation with them about starting their period. And there's sort of this awareness about what's, you know, that you're going to enter this sort of womanhood. And so there's sort of preparation for that. when a woman is pregnant or trying to get pregnant, there's a lot of support, a lot of books, a lot of preparation that is taken during that time. She reads all the books, she prepares her body, she's taking the, you know, the hormones, the vitamin supplements, and then, there's a lot of stuff going on. And then all of a sudden, sort of, she enters this menopause journey, and it's like, no one talks about it. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of symptoms that happen that there's no real discussion. And I spoke to a number of women who said, like, they went to their doctors to prepare for the menopause journey, and the doctors were like, right, let's do a blood test. Let's see where you are on the scale, and then we can assess and then come back in a year. But there was no discussion of what's actually going on. So I use the yoga for women's health approach, the awareness, understanding, and connection, to say, right, let's see where we are. Let's understand what's going on in our bodies. Let's understand the hormones that have been influential in our bodies over the last 20 years, estrogen, progesterone, FSH, LH, the predominant 4 menstrual cycle hormones. Let's understand our body biologically. Let's understand our body anatomically, where we're carrying our stress. There's a lot of focus on pelvic floor muscles, the pelvis, deep breathing, releasing stress. A lot of women carry their stress in their shoulders. A lot of women will be here. When you ask a woman to breathe, she's usually breathing like this with her shoulders, not with her chest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I've been working on that. My tummy, my diaphragm.
There's a lot of, so we want to create through yoga practice, we really want to create body anatomy awareness through discussions and talking and understanding how our hormones are changing, what the hormones mean, how they affect us, and then create that connection that as I'm going through my menopause journey, firstly, the yoga can practically help me with dealing, managing, treating the symptoms, can really balance out the symptoms through the specific yoga practice that we do depending on where you are in the menopause journey. And secondly, understanding what hormones are going to be predominant and dominant in my body during this journey and what that means for me. So, for example, estrogen drops dramatically during the menopause journey. Estrogen is our dominant hormone throughout our fertility years, and then it drops. What does that mean? What does that mean to me biologically? What does that mean to me hormonally? And what does that mean to me emotionally? And how do I manage and deal and cope with all of that? All through yoga, through using my body and understanding what I need to do and specific practices. So as estrogen drops, you may have, for example, vaginal atrophy, vaginal dryness. But through yoga for women's health and the work with pelvic floor muscles, the work with deep breathing, you can help stimulate blood flow to that region, which can counterbalance that.
Awesome.
I find it fascinating that when women don't really understand their biology, their hormonal changes, the relationship between mind, body, physical, emotional, they go through things and they their response or their implications, excuse the noise, it's going on in the background.
Sounds like it, yeah.
My husband and son watching soccer, I apologize.
Yay! Vaginal dryness. That sounds very cool. So it's like instead of having to take medicines and creams and everything, you can actually do it a natural way, it sounds like and also have the understanding, because for example, women during menopause will have uncomfortable sex, they may lose their sex drive, because of the changing hormones, which often lead then to an imbalance in their relationship with their partner, and there's the whole emotional side of it, which and all the side effects of
that. Which potentially could be solved by the woman having this understanding and awareness of what's going on in her body.
Makes sense. So how much time do they have to spend with you? Like, is it once a week? Is it a couple times a week? Or?
Minimum, it's got to be one class a week. For me,
Okay.
a class is an hour and a half. I find that if it's less than an hour, I know an hour and a half sometimes seems a bit like overwhelming for people. But an hour and a quarter minimum, usually my classes are an hour and a half, because you need the time to really get into it and to get into that deep state of really disconnecting from the outside world, activating that parasympathetic nervous system, allowing yourself to properly relax, and that journey takes time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that is amazing. I just love it. I love what you're out there offering. It's an amazing value to people. You know, I truly believe in natural ways of going about things. I'm really, if you don't have to take medication and put artificial, toxic, sometimes things in your body, on your body, and you can do it in a natural way, I just think that's incredible. So you've got a really amazing gift to offer. And you mentioned that your number one challenge in your business is accountability and follow through. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that?
Yeah, so I find it working from home and not working from an office space, that I get easily distracted. So I'll set myself a task, but all of a sudden I'll, let's say, hit a difficult spot, you know, something I need to sort of focus on, but I'll hear the calling of the laundry or the calling of, you know, I've got to tidy up the kitchen. And I find that the accountability, because it's, you know, me, myself, and I don't have a boss over me. I don't have a deadline. If I don't meet a deadline, what's going to happen? Like, no one's going to, you know, call me to account for it. And so I find that level of, like, I know what I have to do. I'm super organized. I have all my lists. I write everything out. I know what I have to do. But I find that working by yourself, for yourself, and also working from home is very, very distracting. It's very easy to find a reason not to really sit down and invest what needs to be invested, you know, like the focus and the time and the energy. So I've
go ahead.
No, go.
So can I maybe offer you a little bit of coaching around that?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Do you have a mission statement? Would be my first question. Written down that you read every day.
That I read every day? No, but I do have a mission statement.
Okay. And how is it very specific with your goals? Do you have your goals written down, like exactly how much, you know, how many clients you want to serve by a certain time or a certain amount per month or things like that?
So I have not written down clear business strategic goals. It's very it's in my head, and it's sort of general where I know I want to go, but it's not, I think I'm definitely facing a lot of fear around, like, writing it down and what it means if you don't meet that goal, and sort of like, I have more in my head the general image and vision of what I want to do, but
this is very cool then. That's perfect, because I was just thinking about this today, and I'm actually going to be doing a mission statement challenge, I think. So, so I want you to join me on that. So basically what I was saying in my video that I did this morning about this was that if you don't have your specific goals written out on paper by a specific time, it's kind of like saying, like, I'm going to go on vacation versus, you know, at some point, versus I'm going to go to Hawaii in November. Okay. So do you see the difference? So if you know, if you just say, oh, I'm going to go, it's in your head, right? Your things are in your head. Versus putting it down. Like, if you have it down on paper that I'm going to go to Hawaii in November. Okay. Well, now which island? Let's get more specific. Okay. I'm going to go to Maui, right? And then you're like, well, how am I going to get there? Am I going to drive? No, it's an island. Am I going to take a cruise? Maybe. Am I going to fly? Probably. So, okay, how do I got to book a ticket. Okay, well, I know I'm going to go in November. I'm going to start looking specific. I'm going to look for the best on vacation at some point. The probability of you actually getting there by November is much higher than if you just have it swimming around in your head that I'm going to go on vacation. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
totally.
Right.
Totally.
So if you say, I want to have, you know, let's just say $100,000 by the end of 2019, December 2019, you're writing that down. I'm just pulling that out of the air. I don't even know what your currency is over there. It's probably different, but you know what I mean?
$100,000 sounds good in any language.
Right? Okay, cool. So, and then how many clients do I need to achieve that? Well, you have to create something first. Well, you've already done that. You've got this amazing value that you offer for people, right? So, so now you just need to figure out how much how many clients do I need by that time. And then you create this mission statement based on those solid goals. And now that you have a specific timeline, you're going to be holding yourself more accountable and stay more focused than going to do the dishes and going to do that, because you're like, I got to get my clients by November or December, right? Does that make sense?
Totally. I definitely will be very honest and say that there is a big fear factor involved.
But it's okay. It's okay if you don't hit it. It's totally okay. It's just to get you clear. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just to get you clear, and it's all good. And it's putting it out into the universe. So the universe knows what you want at least. So then like Oprah says, preparation, there's no luck. Preparation is meeting opportunity, right? Yeah. So if you're prepared and you're clear about what you want, the opportunities show up and you grab them. But if you're not clear on what you want specifically, the opportunities will come and go. You may not grab them. Does that make sense? So just having that clarity is totally fine. To be scared around it doesn't mean anything. It's just getting it up and out onto paper, getting you super clear. And then when you're reading it every day, it's to keep you focused too.
I like the idea of reading it every day.
Yeah. And being very specific.
That sounds really, because I actually at the beginning of the year in January, I bought this big A3 paper block, and I sort of was writing all my things out there, but I've actually put it like in a cupboard, so it's all written out in this block, but it's like hidden away. I can easily get it out and have it like in front of me every single day. So
and you don't need to be attached to it. It just get really clear and specific on what it is. That's the first step anyway, and then you can work on your fear later. But I highly recommend that you do that, and to just keep you going. And please join me. I'm going to be posting I think I'm going to do like a 7-day
amazing
challenge, and then every day I'll post something else so we can create this amazing mission statement together by the end of the 7 days. Cool. So I hope you join me on that. That'd be awesome.
Very excited.
Yay. So back to you. What's the best way for people to connect with you if they're interested in doing your? Is this only in Tel Aviv, or do you have it online where everybody can access it?
So I'm really happy you asked, because my mission for 2019 has been to create an online yoga course specifically for women on their menopause journey.
Awesome. Love it.
So I'm in the process. So I'm in the process of creating and developing that. So I'm hoping that sometime in 2019, now I have to set a date so that it was actually going to happen. The online course will become available. At the moment, you can reach me at my Facebook page, which is the Yoga Room. It's actually Yoga Room Modi In, I think, is the actual. I'm going to find it for you specifically. If you search for the Yoga Room, but if you do facebook.com/Yoga Room Modi In, which is MODIIN, which is
I'll put the link. I'll put the link in here too, so it'll be easy for people.
And I also have a blog that I do once a month, discussing issues about women's health, the general sort of life struggle of a yoga mom with 5 kids. So I do that. And you can also find me on Instagram, which is, I'm trying to befriend Instagram. Instagram, I'm definitely there, but I'm much more on Facebook and on my blog. And please God, when I have my online course, it will be on my brand new exciting website.
Yay! Awesome.
Yay.
Very cool. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Awesome. So thank you so much for sharing all your amazing wisdom, and I'm sure people are going to get a lot of value from this. And
thank you, Heather.
Yeah, my pleasure. It was really nice to meet you. And I'm going to check it out because I'm there. I'm getting there. I'm at 45, so right around the corner for me.
Exactly. And you want to be able to embrace it rather than just ignore it. So enjoy the journey.
Oh no, you froze. Hey, that's okay. I can cut it out. I can splice it. So you were saying, I think you were saying, enjoy the journey.
Yes. I was saying, enjoy the journey. I want to leave everyone with one last message that we focus on. We don't really think about life after menopause. And there is a massive, exciting life waiting after menopause. Because if you think about the 20 years between the age of 10 and 30, how much happens and how your life changes in those 20 years, think about what the potential is from the ages of 60 to 80, which is the same 20-year period. There's no reason why those 20 years shouldn't be as exciting as the 20 years between 10 and 30.
Yes, thank you for that message. That's amazing. That's transformational right there. For sure. Yeah. Like
what Jane Fonda calls the third act.
The third act. I love it. That's so cool. Well, I want to get your stuff online as quick as possible, and I can show you actually how to set it all up in 8 weeks if you're interested. But
yay.
Because that's exactly what I do. Is I take my clients step by step to create high value online packages so that have a ton of value. So I'd love to I think we're gonna as quickly as possible. That sounds so great. So great.
I think we're gonna stay in touch, Heather.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you.
Totally appreciate it. And let's keep in touch. And come and do my manifestation challenge, or not manifestation. I keep wanting to call it that. Mission statement, manifestation. Both, they're the same thing.
Manifestation missioning.
There we go. Awesome. All right, Jacqualine, you have a great day.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
The great stuff doesn't stop here. Visit heatherblaze.com where you can join me in an upcoming free video presentation where I'll be pulling back the curtains and breaking down the exact step-by-step method my amazing clients are using to build a pipeline of eager new clients flooding their businesses like bees to honey without spending hours and hours chasing down new business or living in front of their laptop. Again, that's heatherblaze.com.